So, the task force vision of improved project delivery enabled by project data requires us to improve data access to the growing community of practice. The data access workstream is aiming to demystify some of the perceived complexities of data sharing and to help organisations progress this agenda. And while I remember, a quick thank you to the workstream volunteers from Heathrow, the Oakland Group, PCSG and colleagues at Sir Robin McAlpine. The first objective we set ourselves was to define the data access challenges, what's getting in the way. We're aiming to create some guidance for data holding organisations presented in a structured way that will enable them to build robust business cases for sharing their data with other organisations. We identified that people face challenges that are both cultural and technical as they embark on this journey. And the things we've identified so far can be grouped into three themes, each represented here as a hurdle to overcome towards becoming data confident. These themes surely won't be considered in isolation or in a sequence as I show in the slide here, but are more likely to be developed and matured concurrently. Clearly, there will be no single defined status at which every organisation will have ticked all the boxes for data sharing. It's likely there'll be some level of certainty will be achieved against each theme, which will enable an organisation to move forward, recognising an element of residual risk, but that risk is acceptable when compared to the potential value that can be realised from the exercise. So we're aiming to structure our guidance around these three themes. Firstly, willingness, and this is about the business case, recognising that it's a greater benefit to be sharing than not. Second one is confidence, and this is about trusting the journey and the process, understanding that quality is likely to be low to start with, but listen, that's okay, because together we're going to get better quicker than, or better together we'll get better quicker than doing it alone. And that of course links back to business case. And the third one is ability, which is learning from doing and steadily ensuring that our people, our projects and our organisations are able to facilitate more access to data. This of course creates a bit of a virtuous circle of more willingness, more confidence and more ability, and you keep lapping around in more of the same hurdles. We recognise that people are already doing this at different levels, so what we're aiming to do is to bring some structure as to how this happens. On the next slide, you'll see our work plan. It looks like this. Thank you. We've identified 6 activity threads within the workstream. Number 1 is the business case, and this is the why we should be sharing data and relates closely to the work that Andy's already outlined on the engagement workstream. Number 2, landscape. This is the what. Well, we're considering the current landscape, what's happening in other countries, UK government direction on data, and what different industries are doing. And the task force is providing access to lots of different examples across the UK landscape. Our third work stream is framework, and this is the crux of what we're aiming to do. This is the how. We're going to produce a framework which currently takes the form of a fairly simple checklist, which will guide an organisation through the key considerations on each of our themes. We're aiming to share best practice and case studies from others who've already encountered some of the challenges, and we'll share in ways in which these have been overcome by those organisations. During development of the framework, we're aiming to test our assumptions, which is 4 on this chart, and we'll do that more widely by engaging with this community and with your networks. So if you think you'd like to participate in that engagement, then please do let us know. We're aiming to complete this initial work in sort of early summer this year with the publication of our first data access report. We'll supplement that with a follow-up in the autumn when we expect to be able to refine the framework with broader input and more case studies. And we plan to develop the framework to become a web-based tool, which means it can be easily accessible by everyone, and we can use data gathered from that web-based tool to inform and improve the framework. Finally, the last 2 activities in this diagram relate to promotion of the framework and development of a long-term vision and strategy. We already have a vision of our success as a work stream, and that's when our other task force colleagues and the wider community no longer experience any challenges to data access. But clearly we've got a bit of a journey to go on to get there. So that's the update from the data access work stream.